Jordan Natterer, 25, was reported missing on October 13, 2020, after he failed to arrive at a Thanksgiving dinner. His black 2016 Honda Civic was found in the Lightning Lake Day Use area of the E.C. Manning Provincial Park in British Columbia at Frosty Mountain Trailhead. The case has courted much controversy as the search was called off too early in the eyes of friends and family, and even the Canadian Prime Minister became involved. Jordan remains missing as of November 13, 2020. 1 month after he was reported missing. Jordan was a Memorial University engineering alumni and recent graduate of the University of British Columbia. He was last seen leaving his downtown Vancouver apartment at Seymour and Nelson Street at around 7 a.m. on October 10, 2020. It's believed he set out for a solo hike on Frosty Mountain Trail in Manning Provincial Park, but he didn't leave a trip plan. When he didn't show up for Thanksgiving dinner with friends 2 days later, the search began on October 13th. Jordan was 5 feet 10 inches tall with a slim build and short brown hair. He was last seen wearing black pants, white running shoes, and carrying a large olive green backpack. His bank card records indicated he had bought a cup of coffee at the Manning Park Resort, giving the family verification where he was. He had purchased camping equipment and apparel some time before, which gave the family detailed information, like the tread type on his boots. Here's a little background on Manning Park. E.C. Manning Provincial Park is a provincial park in British Columbia, Canada. It is usually referred to as Manning Park by locals. It's about 200 kilometers east of Vancouver. The park covers 83,671 hectares, which is about 323 miles squared, and it lies along British Columbia Highway 3 and occupies a large amount of land between Hope and Princeton along the Canada-United States border. The park was named in memory of Ernest Callaway Manning, Chief Forester of British Columbia from 1936 to 1941, not to be confused with Ernest C. Manning, Premier of Alberta from 1943 to 1968. Manning was killed in an airplane accident in 1941. During his time as Chief Forester, he was instrumental in developing the idea of setting land aside for future generations to enjoy. It was the teamwork of Manning and Arthur Wellesley Gray, Minister of Lands from 1933 to 1944, that established the Tweedsmuir Provincial Park, Hamburg Provincial Park, Wells Gray Provincial Park, and E.C. Manning Provincial Park. Over the years, Manning Park has decreased in size, the most noticeable change being the park boundary in the east. Originally, the park included the Smelkameen Falls, but due to mine claims and private land ownership, the boundaries have since been moved more than 4 kilometers west. Investigators believe Naterer was on a hiking trip that went poorly. His parents flew to Vancouver from their home in St. John's to help look for their son. For 5 days, search and rescue teams from several parts of British Columbia scoured the area by air and on foot. Several volunteers also helped out. However, on October 17th, the authorities decided to suspend the search, stating they had exhausted all avenues for searching. The search was called off based on the expert advice of the SAR teams and lack of additional information. The family launched its own private search, hired a drone company, and paid for a helicopter to search the area. They also appealed to Vancouver Police Department to reactivate their program as soon as possible and get thermal imaging helicopters and drones and dogs up there. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau even got involved. In 1998, Trudeau lost his 23-year-old brother Michael, who was swept away and died in an avalanche in British Columbia. Quote, "I can't personally hear that story and not think about my little brother, who was lost almost 25 years ago in the beautiful mountains of BC. Reflecting on the efforts that went into trying to find him and how I felt when the search was called off," end quote. Early in the search, crews found a bag that authorities didn't think belonged to Naterer, but then, on October 18th, Jordan's mother, Josie, identified the contents of the bag as belonging to her son, which included a hat, a pair of Oakley sunglasses, pieces of down material used in pillow fillers were also spotted in the park. It was similar material Jordan used to make crafts and found at his apartment, according to his father. Greg Naterer, Jordan's father, said, quote, "Off-trail footprints," end quote, had been found south of Frosty Peak in an area that hadn't been well searched. Greg asked the RCMP to search the area east of Frosty Peak where he believes his son wandered, based on new clues found by the private tracker. Since this is a fairly new case, the possibility that Jordan is still out there remains very strong. The strangest thing about this disappearance is the contents found in what was believed to be Jordan's backpack or bag that was left behind, unscathed, with many of his belongings, if not all, left to eventually be found by search crews. So far, there have been no new leads in the case.